and welcome back to Learning with Chai, my friends. A very happy new year to all of you. Cheers to learning new things with me. So, today we are going to learn about probability and its sampling theories. So, firstly, let me give you a comprehensive explanation how probability or the sampling theory really works. I can't believe I just made that a slide. Anyway, so what exactly is probability theory? It is just the foundation or a branch of mathematics that will deal with the likelihood of events occurring. So we can make predictions based on whether the event is going to occur or not using probability. It is just going to quantify uncertainty in an event, say occurring of rain or getting storm or tsunami. All these can be predicted using probability. So let's go in depth into the key concepts of probability. The first one is sample space. The set of all possible outcomes of an experiment are called as sample space. So here there's an example of heads or tails for a coin toss. So let me give you another example. Say me and my friend are playing arm wrestling. So there's either a chance of winning for both of us. It's either I win or he wins. So the set of me winning or him winning are called as sample space. So next there is events. Events are nothing but the subset of the sample space, or as I told you, when I and my friend are playing arm wrestling, we consider me winning and he winning as sample space. So when we consider just me winning, it is an event, or when we consider just him winning, it is an event again. When we talk about tossing a coin here, getting heads or getting tails is called as an event. The next one is probability. A number between 0 to 1 that will measure the likelihood of an event occurring. So that is termed as probability. For example, the probability of getting heads in a coin toss is termed as 0.5. So when we toss a coin, there are two chances, either heads or tails. But we also know there is 50% choice for head and 50% chance for tail. So the 50% of 1 is going to be taken as 0.5. So probability is always going to vary between 0 and 1, because probability can never be negative, because an occurrence of an event can never be termed as negative, and probability cannot exceed more than 1. It is always less than 1. So the next one is random variables. So variables whose values are determined by a chance are called as random variables. So when we take tossing a coin, we can just predict the chances of getting a head or getting a tail. But when we toss 10 coins at a time, or when we toss 15 coins simultaneously at a time, we just can't predict whether we're getting a head or we are getting a tail. So we term this event of getting a heads or getting tails when we toss 15 coins as X, which can be used as random variable. Then there is sampling theory. So what is the purpose of sampling theory? It is just a branch of statistics that will deal with selecting samples from a whole population to make inferences about the entire population. So when I talk about entire population, let's just say there's a school of 10 classes, just 10, first to 10th standard, and in this 10 classes we are going to take just second standard class. So when we take second standard class, that is a small population, which is the population part of this entire population of 10 classes. So when we take just second standard as our reference, so in sampling, let's just say we are counting on how many people are regular to school. So sampling theory helps us to predict probability of the entire first to 10th standard regularity just based on the second standard class regularity. So here we are going to select just one population, work on it, and predict the whole population's data. So what exactly is a population? As I told you, the entire group of individuals or objects that we want to study. The object I took is the school, the entire school, or a single class. So what is a sample? A subset of the population that we actually collect data from. So as I told you, here I'm going to tell you what is the population and the sample. I gave you an example of a school and just the second standard kids. So the whole school belongs to population and just the second standard kids are going to belong to a sample. So what are the methods of sampling? There are random sampling, that is simple random sampling, then stratified sampling and structured cluster sampling. So when we talk about simple random sampling, as I told you the school example, we are just going to take one example of a object and one example of a population and going to sample between them. When we talk about stratified sampling, a lot of populations are going to be judged based on one object. And when we talk about cluster sampling, we are going to take say 10 to 15 schools at a time and we are going to predict the regularity of all the schools just based on one school. That is called as cluster sampling. Now there is relationship between probability and sampling. So what's the reason we are going to learn probability and sampling together? So here's the catch. Probability theory provides the foundation for sampling theory. So without probability theory, I don't think sampling theory really works, because to predict a case in the sampling theory, we will need probability as its foundation or the basis. So the sampling methods will rely totally on the probability principles to ensure the unbiased and representative samples. Unbiased as in not into one side. So sampling theory allows us to make inferences about population based on the samples. As I told you, here again we are going to refer to the population as the school. We use probability to calculate the likelihood that our sample results are accurate representations of the population. So when we check sampling theory of the second standard class and the whole school, it might be just manually doing it, but when we have to theoretically calculate if the school is regular or not, we definitely need probability theory. So here lies the relationship between the probability and the sampling theory. So what exactly are the applications of probability and sampling theory? Do we use it in real life? We obviously do. So survey research, clinical trials, quality control, election polling, market research and scientific research. All these fields use probability and sampling theory in their everyday life. So when I told about survey research, let's just talk about weather forecasting. We can predict the weather for the next 5 days just on basis of the whole month or the whole last year. So when we talk about clinical trials, we are going to check the changes in symptoms of a person by giving them medicines. So these changes might be observed for 4 days and the rest of the month can be predicted by the probability theory or the sampling theory. Quality control is mostly used in the manufacturing industries, as we all know. Then there is election polling. When we talk about election polling, before the vote counting, we would have polled to our desired democratic parties, and that polling on social medias or on various websites will be given to the media, and the media people will predict whether the winner is A party or the B party. So that is how elections use probability as, but not exactly in the vote counting, of course. Then there is market research. Market research and scientific research are the other two fields in which the manufacturing fields use the probability and the sampling theory. That's all for today, my friends. I'm going to come back with more information. Until then, see you all. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.